The Driver, a suspense romance novel by Abioni Oginiovi Franklin. Part 1, Shadows and Episode 1, The Man Who Walked Away from Everything.
The city never really slept. Even at 2 a.m., in Lagos shimmered, neon sign flickering over restless streets, the air heavy with exhaust, fried food, and the pulse of music spilling from hidden clubs. But here, in the quiet back lanes where rain slicked the asphalt like black glass, Kia Donovan sat behind the wheel of the black Mercedes S-Class, watching the world through thin silver veil of drizzle. His gloved hands rested lightly on the steering wheel, relaxed but never unready. From the outside, he looked like any other professional driver. Tailored black suit, crisp white shirt, hair neatly kept, expression unreadable. The kind of man whose job was to disappear into background. That was exactly why he had chosen it. The truth was, Kai could have been anywhere in the world right now, He could have been in a penthouse overlooking Hong Kong's harbor. He could have been at his family's estate in Cape Town, surrounded by vineyards and the weight of old money. He could have been living the life of the Oakmude's heir, the life he had been born into. But that life had ended 5 years ago. It began with blood on marble floors, a night that rewrote him, bone and soul. One moment, he was a prodigal son, wealthy, reckless, untouchable. The next, he was kneeling beside his younger brother's body, the sound of a single gunshot still ringing in his ears. The official report called it an accident. Kai knew better. That was the day he walked away from the Donovan fortune, from his father's empire, from the life that could buy anything except the truth. Instead, he poured himself into the only thing that made sense: discipline. He trained in the mountains of Japan under a man who spoke less than Kai did now. He learned the silent, brutal efficiency of Krav Maga in Israel. He mastered the fluid, deceptive strikes of Muay Thai and Bangkok's underground rings. He became the kind of man who didn't need a weapon to kill you. But now, all of that was hidden under the quiet facade of a driver, a man paid to get from point A to point B, no questions asked. Tonight, his passenger was a stranger, a middle-aged man from the Voss family's Lagos headquarters, delivering an envelope to Kai's next employer. The name on the envelope, Sophia Voss. Kai had heard of her. Everyone had. The only daughter of Magnus Voss, the billionaire real estate tycoon with more enemies than friends. Selena was famous for two things: her beauty and her talent for spending her father's money like it had an expiration date. Spoiled, reckless, untouchable. Kai knew the type that he wasn't impressed. The rain eased as he turned down a quiet street lined with luxury apartments. The man beside him gestured to stop in front of a marble facade. "This is her building," the man said, handing over the envelope. "You start tomorrow. She likes drivers who know when to shut up." Kai took the envelope without comment. The man glanced at him again, almost hesitating before speaking. "One more thing. If you're smart, you'll stay out of her personal life." Kai didn't answer, but in the dim reflection of the windshield, the corner of his mouth curved just slightly. Stay out of her life? He had no intention of getting into it. But the thing about storms is, you don't always see them coming.
Episode 2, Selena and Diamonds.
The first time Kai saw Selena Voss, she was descending a staircase of light. The ballroom was a sea of glitter, crystal chandeliers, champagne flutes catching golden light, 100 conversations rising and falling in the humid night air. But everything faded when she appeared at the top of the stairs, a glass of champagne in her hand, and a gown that looked like it had been stitched out of moonlight. Her hair was a deep, glossy black, tumbling over one bare shoulder. A diamond necklace caught the light like a falling star. Men turned. Women paused. She moved like she knew the world was watching. Kai was parked outside in the Mercedes, engine low and steady, waiting for the signal. He saw her reflection first, a ripple of silver in the glass doors, and then she stepped outside into the heat of the Lagos night. Two men trailed her, laughing too loudly, clearly trying to impress. She dismissed them with a flick of her wrist before sliding into the back seat.
You must be the new one.
she said without looking at him. Yes, ma'am,
Don't ma'am me.
she said, her tone light but edged.
Makes me feel old. Call me Selena. Understood?
She studied him in the rear-view mirror, her eyes a startling shade of green that didn't belong in this city.
Have you driven for someone like me before?
Kai kept his gaze forward and said, "No one is like you." The answer made her lips twitch. He wasn't flattering her. He was stating it as fact. By the time they reached her penthouse, she'd learned exactly nothing about him. He hadn't asked a single question, hadn't commented on her gown, hadn't reacted to her teasing. When he opened her door, she paused beside him, close enough for him to catch the faint scent of jasmine.
You're quiet.
She said. "I'm paid to drive," he replied. She tilted her head, amused.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Episode 3, Hired Silence.
The next few weeks followed a rhythm. Morning pickups to boutiques and business lunches. Evening drives to charity galas and rooftop clubs. Late night returns to the penthouse, often with Selena tipsy and talkative. She filled the car with stories, men who had tried to win her, rivals she outmaneuvered, the absurd things people did to stay in her orbit. Kai said little, but Selena noticed things. How he always scanned the street before letting her out. How he never checked his phone when waiting, as if his attention was always on something unseen. How once, when a street vendor's cart toppled and the crowd surged, his hand was on her waist before she even realized she was in danger of falling. She started to wonder if there was more to him. After a club opening, the night was hot, music still thumping faintly in the distance. Selena's heels clicked against wet pavement as Kai guided her toward the car. Then 3 men stepped from the shadows. The first had a knife. The second blocked the path behind them. The third smiled like a man who thought he had already won. Kai's voice was calm. "Get in the car, Selena." She froze, eyes darting between them.
What?
"Now." She obeyed. The next seconds were a blur. Kai caught the knife wielder's wrist mid-swing, twisting until bone cracked. A knee to the gut dropped him. The second man lunged. Kai sidestepped, driving an elbow into his jaw with a sickening crack. The third barely raised his hand before Kai's fist sent him sprawling against the wall. It was over in less than 10 seconds. When he slid into the driver's seat, Selena was staring at him, her lips parted. She breathed, never said I was. He pulled into the street, the hum of the engine, the only sound between them.
What? You're not just a driver.
Episode 4, Dangerous Curiosity.
Where did you learn to fight like that?
"Travel," he said.
Travel where?
Everywhere. She hated that he could answer, without really telling her anything. At the same time, she began noticing details she hadn't before. The faint scar along his jaw, the way his shoulders filled his suit, the way he could go still in a way that made you feel watched without being touched. It was dangerous, the way she was beginning to think about him. The first crack in their unspoken barrier came at a private party. Selena was on the dance floor, moving in a slow rhythm with some investment heir whose name Kai didn't bother remembering. Her gown shimmered in the low light, her bare back a perfect line of skin. When her eyes met his across the room, something passed between them, a silent dare. She left her partner mid-song, walked past him without a word, and slid into the car.
Take me home.
She said, and Kai, for the first time, felt something shift in his chest. The storm came without warning. By the time they left the art auction, rain was pouring in sheets, drumming against the roof of the Mercedes, blurring the neon city lights into a smear of gold and red. Selena sat in the back, her hair damp from the dash to the car, her bare shoulders gleaming in the low light. She was silent, not the comfortable silence Kai was used to, but something charged. Halfway to her penthouse, she leaned forward.
Come inside tonight. It wasn't a request.
The elevator ride was silent. She unlocked the door and stepped in, kicking off her heels, letting them fall where they landed. She turned to him. Rain streaked the glass behind her, thunder rumbling like a warning.
You've been keeping your distance since the alley, she said softly. Why?
You've been keeping your distance since the alley, she said softly. Why? Kai didn't answer. Instead, he stepped closer. Her breath caught when he touched her. Not like the fumbling of men she was used to, but deliberate, as if he was memorizing the shape of her. The kiss was slow at first, testing. Then it deepened, heat blooming between them, the rain outside matching the rhythm of their bodies. Clothes hit the floor. Hands learned each other in urgent, unbroken lines. He moved with a control that made her shiver, yet every kiss felt like he was losing himself too. Later, tangled in silk sheets, she traced the scars across his chest.
Where did you get these?
She whispered. Everywhere, he said, and it was all he would say.
Episode 5, Pillow Truths.
It was the only night they didn't pretend. In the soft dark, she told him about her mother's early death, her father's emotional absence, the way she learned to survive by controlling every room she walked into. He told her nothing about his family, but when she asked if he'd ever been in love, he was quiet for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. Once, he said finally, it ended badly. She wanted to ask more, but something in his voice told her not to. A week later, the note appeared under the Mercedes' wiper. She's ours. Stay out of it. Kai read it twice, his jaw tightening. Selena brushed it off when he showed her. People like to scare me. It's nothing. But he saw the flicker in her eyes. Not fear exactly, but recognition. Kai followed her without her knowing. Late-night meetings in shadowed parking lots. Conversations with men whose faces belonged in police files. Envelopes passed hand to hand. He pieced it together. She'd borrowed millions from a syndicate to invest in a real estate deal. The deal collapsed. The money was gone. And the men who owned her debt didn't ask twice. The kidnapping attempt 2 weeks ago, the one that had drawn him into that alley fight, hadn't been real. She'd staged it. She needed a man like Kai to remove certain enemies. She hadn't meant to pull him in this deep, but she had. When he confronted her, she didn't deny it.
I did what I had to do,
she said, chin lifted. Kai's face was unreadable. And I do what I have to do. He left without another word. The days after were empty. He worked other jobs, kept himself. But she was everywhere. In the jasmine scent left in the back of the car, in the memory of rain on her skin. He didn't call. Neither did she. 3 months later, the knock came. When he opened the door, Selena stood there in torn jeans, no makeup, eyes red.
They're going to kill my father.
She whispered.
Please, Kia. You are the only one I can trust now.
Kai should close the door. Instead, he stepped aside. The syndicate wanted a public message. The destruction of the Voss Empire. They'd taken Magnus Voss to a warehouse by the docks. Kai moved like a ghost through the city, Selena beside him in the passenger seat, silent except for the occasional tremor in her hands.
You don't have to do this,
she said once. Yes, he said, eyes fixed ahead. I do. Chapter 15, The Warehouse War. The rain hadn't stopped. The warehouse smelled of oil and salt. Shadows shifted between stacks of crates. Men with guns patrolled in pairs. Kai entered alone. The first guard went down with a single strike to the throat. The second never saw the elbow that shattered his jaw. A knife flashed. Kai twisted the wrist, buried the blade in another man's shoulder. Gunfire erupted. He dove behind cover, moving with inhuman precision, every step calculated. By the time the shooting stopped, 6 men were down. In the center of the room, Magnus Voss sat tied to a chair, blood on his temple. The leader stepped from the shadows, a tall man with cold eyes. You should have stayed gone, the man said. Kai's only answer was movement, a blur of fists and knees, each strike a punctuation mark in a silent sentence of violence. When it was over, the leader lay unconscious. The rest scattered. Selena rushed in, cutting her father free. Her hand shook.
You saved him,
She said, looking at Kai. I didn't do it for him. Her breath caught. I left because you lied, he said. But I came back because I couldn't stand the thought of you calling someone else for help. Tears slid down her cheeks.
I don't deserve you.
Maybe not, he said, stepping closer, but I'm still here. Chapter 17, The Kiss Before the Storm. Their kiss was slow, deep, tasting of rain and adrenaline. But under was something else, a promise and a warning in one, because both of them knew this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning.
Thanks for watching. Please do well to subscribe, like, and share.